The year 2025 will be remembered not just as another page in the calendar, but as a turning point in the history of global travel. It will be known as the year the skies went quiet, when the familiar roar of jet engines faded into an uneasy silence. In a move that stunned the travel industry and shocked millions, 6 major international airlines abruptly pulled back from the United States, leaving a void that no one expected. Bustling routes that once connected continents vanished overnight, leaving airports eerily silent and travelers stranded, searching for answers. This wasn't just about missed vacations or disrupted plans. It struck at the very heart of America's global connections, its economy, and its sense of openness to the world. For decades, the United States was the world's top destination, a vibrant hub for international travel, business, and cultural exchange. The sudden retreat of these carriers signaled a seismic shift, a moment when the world's doors seemed to close, even if only temporarily. Direct flights to key business hubs in Europe and Asia became scarce, and ticket prices soared to unprecedented heights, making international travel a luxury for only a few. The convenience Americans once took for granted, jetting across continents in a matter of hours, was suddenly at risk, replaced by uncertainty and longing. Every lost flight meant lost jobs, lost revenue, and a blow to local economies built around the steady hum of airport activity. Entire communities felt the impact ripple outward. As we look back at the Great American Grounding, the question remains, how did we get here, and what comes next for a nation so deeply connected to the world by air? The story of America's quiet skies is just beginning, and its outcome will shape the future of travel, business, and our sense of global community for years to come. To understand the silence of 2025, we must look back. After the pandemic, air travel rebounded fast, too fast. Airlines faced shortages of pilots and staff, while airports struggled with outdated infrastructure. Fuel prices and supply chain issues delayed new aircraft, pushing the system to its limits. Then, in 2024, rising inflation and interest rates squeezed travelers and airlines alike. The U.S. market, once a gold mine, became less profitable for international carriers. High operational costs and complex regulations made some routes unsustainable. The industry's rapid growth had masked deep vulnerabilities. By 2025, the perfect storm hit, and 6 airlines made the call to pull back, reshaping American air travel. The warning signs had been there all along. The spring and summer of 2025 brought a wave of announcements. Air France, Lufthansa, Japan, Airlines, Korean Air, Qantas, and British Airways, giants of aviation, slashed U.S. routes. They didn't leave entirely, but their retreat was deep and targeted, especially at secondary hubs. The reasons? Soaring operational costs, new U.S. aviation taxes, and shifting demand. Airlines cited high landing fees, expensive ground handling, and thin profit margins. With new, efficient aircraft, they could now bypass U.S. hubs and focus on more profitable routes elsewhere. Travel experts called it a business decision, not a protest. The message was clear. America had become too costly and complicated. These airlines weren't just leaving, they were redeploying their fleets to markets with better returns. The global map of air travel was being redrawn. America was no longer the center. The impact was immediate and visible. Lufthansa dropped Frankfurt to Philadelphia and Tampa. Air France cut Paris to Seattle. These routes were lifelines for tech, aerospace, and business communities. Japan Airlines and Korean Air slashed trans-Pacific flights, severing key links for biotech, academia, and industry. Qantas suspended its Sydney to Chicago route, isolating the Midwest from direct access to Australia. Travelers now faced longer, more expensive journeys with multiple connections. Departure boards told the story. Paris, Tokyo, Frankfurt, gone. Travel agents struggled to offer alternatives as clients faced frustration and higher costs. The world felt smaller, and America more isolated. The loss wasn't just about convenience, it was about lost opportunity and connection. The map of global travel had shrunk for millions of Americans. The lights were going out, one route at a time. The economic fallout was swift. Each canceled flight meant millions lost for local economies. Hotels, restaurants, taxis, and shops all felt the pinch. Airports, major job engines, saw layoffs ripple through ground staff, baggage handlers, and service companies. A 10% drop in international traffic meant thousands of lost jobs. Cities became less attractive for global business and investment. Companies reconsidered headquarters and expansion plans, hurting growth and tax revenue. The tourism and hospitality sectors suffered as high-spending international visitors disappeared. National parks, museums, and attractions saw fewer guests. Hotel bookings from overseas travelers plummeted. The loss was more than numbers. It was livelihoods, community vibrancy, and future prospects. The economic ripple was felt far beyond the runway. Behind the numbers are real people. Every statistic about canceled flights or empty terminals represents a story, a journey interrupted, a plan put on hold. Take Sarah, a software engineer, who once relied on a direct Seattle-Paris flight for work. That single flight was her lifeline to clients and colleagues across the ocean. Now, her travel time has doubled, with long layovers and missed connections. The exhaustion is setting in. Not just physically, but emotionally too. The Chen family, split between Dallas and Seoul, now faces multiple flights, longer routes, and higher costs just to see each other. What was once a yearly reunion now feels almost impossible. For many, the world suddenly felt bigger and more distant, as if familiar places had drifted further away overnight. Business travelers, students, and tourists all faced higher prices, fewer options, and more complicated journeys. Simple trips became logistical puzzles. A ticket to Frankfurt from Philadelphia jumped from $900 to $1,500, if you could even find a seat. For many, travel became a luxury, not a routine. Airports lost their international buzz. Terminals once alive with global travelers became subdued and empty, echoing with memories of busier days. Employees worried about their jobs, and the energy was gone. The sense of purpose that came from connecting people and places faded. "We used to be a gateway to the world," one gate agent said, recalling the days when every shift brought new faces and new stories. "Now, we're just a stop along the way." The excitement of international travel replaced by uncertainty and waiting. The emotional toll was real. Lost connections, lost opportunities, and a sense of isolation that lingered long after the plane stopped flying. The human cost of the airline pullback was impossible to ignore. Every empty seat and quiet corridor told a story of longing and loss. America's airports felt smaller, and so did its place in the world. The sense of connection that once defined these spaces seemed to shrink. The silence was more than just the absence of planes. It was the sound of dreams deferred, of journeys postponed, and of a world put on pause. According to leading industry experts, the recent retreat by airlines from certain U.S. markets wasn't a rash decision, but rather a rational and calculated response to a rapidly changing global landscape. These experts emphasize that airlines are constantly adapting to new economic realities and shifting market dynamics. Faced with rising operational costs and a noticeable softening of demand within the United States, many airlines chose to redeploy their fleets to regions experiencing faster growth, such as India and Southeast Asia, where passenger numbers and business opportunities are on the rise. Thanks to advancements in aircraft technology, airlines can now offer direct international flights to smaller, previously underserved cities, effectively bypassing the need to operate through expensive and congested U.S. hub airports and opening up new, more profitable routes. This shift shouldn't be seen as abandonment, but as a strategic diversification of routes and resources, allowing airlines to remain competitive and resilient in a volatile industry. Experts also highlight that rising trade disputes, increasingly complex visa regulations, and the introduction of new taxes have become significant deterrents for foreign carriers considering U.S. expansion. Airlines crave predictability and stability. When government regulations become too burdensome or unpredictable, carriers are quick to seek out more welcoming environments elsewhere. In many ways, this pullback represents a clear vote of no confidence in current U.S. aviation policy and regulatory frameworks. Still, some industry observers see this moment as a much-needed wake-up call for the U.S. aviation sector, urging leaders to take action. Now, U.S. airports and policymakers must actively compete for international service, rethinking everything from operational costs to the overall passenger experience, and investing in upgrades to attract global carriers. The balance of power has shifted. America must now demonstrate that it remains a worthwhile and attractive destination for international investment and airline partnerships. Ultimately, the future of U.S. aviation will depend on how decisively and effectively the country responds to these new challenges and opportunities. The airline pullback frayed America's social fabric. For a nation built by immigrants, losing direct flights made family ties and cultural connections harder to maintain. Universities and research centers struggled to attract global talent as travel became more difficult. Fewer international visitors meant less cultural exchange and a more insular perspective. The vibrant, multicultural energy of American cities faded. The question lingers: is the world starting to bypass America? The airline pullback is a turning point, not the end. Airports must cut costs, modernize, and improve the passenger experience to win back carriers. Policymakers need to rethink taxes, regulations, and visa policies to stay competitive. There are signs of hope: new incentives, domestic carriers stepping up, and innovative routes emerging. The future of American aviation may look different, but it can be strong again. America's strength is resilience and reinvention. The empty gates are a call to action. Rebuild, reconnect, and reclaim our place in the world. What do you think? Share your thoughts below.